So your mind is keeping you intact with the visualization, and the art itself that you're creating is keeping you in touch with the visualization. So your focus, so there's an intensity, so your visualization develops a certain level of clarity. Hence, really, you notice when you get into art, you find yourself, your ability to materialize reality, or your ability to manifest reality, begins to increase exponentially. This exponential growth is a byproduct of how you are immersed into the art itself, because the art is like a ritual. It is a ritual. It's a ceremony, but it's an artistic ceremony. It's an artistic ceremony. It's an artistic ritual. And this is equivalent. We could parallel this phenomenon with it's prevalent amongst novelists, where they tend to realize that the protagonist in their movie would materialize before their very eyes. So here you have a human being who supposedly had free will. Inadvertently, they're an unconscious instrument in a much grander orchestra. This person, like a conduit, just emerges into reality to fulfill this novelist character. You write in a book, the character in the book manifests before your eyes. It's a phenomenon. So art is a whole different metaphysical phenomena by itself, phenomenological phenomena, the structure of consciousness and the human experience. So as a research scientist, I have a special interest in music. And I always had an interest in art, because I couldn't understand why. If you look at all of our great predecessors, all of them were grounded in some kind of art, from Da Vinci to Picasso to Einstein. Everyone was there was something in art, and I realized what it is, and I think it's fascinating. And especially surrealism, Salvador Dali. Surrealism is a fascinating phenomenon, because Salvador Dali, man. What Salvador Dali did was something called the juxtaposition of incongruity. The merging of the incompatible, taking two things that are mutually exclusive, placing them side by side, and find a single common denominator they share. And what Salvador Dali did was he juxtaposed the subconscious with the dream state. This is what you call surrealism, or surrealistic. Surrealistic when there's a disparity between two objects. There's no commonality. It's like a bicycle and a milkshake. Just two contrasting images that somehow this artist's creativity allowed him to juxtapose these two disparate objects in a cohesive kind of way. It's cohesive juxtaposition. That's why I find surrealism to be a whole different, fascinating phenomenon in art, because it's a lot of juxtaposition. You see that juxtaposition pervasive in comedy. With Mitch Hedberg, where I like to throw Mitch Hedberg, the surrealistic comedian. He said he threw a toothpick in the forest and said, "You home." That's surrealistic absurdity, absurd surrealism. So absurd surrealism now. Absurd surrealism is where the surrealism is absurd. There's an absurdity to the surrealism. Like, let's say I have an ice cream hammer. I saw an surrealistic art where this person juxtaposed a hammer and an ice cream, and he called it an ice cream hammer. So that is surrealistic. That's absurd surrealism. So surrealism is a fascinating phenomenon in art. You have the three-dimensional aspect of art, you have the surrealistic aspect of art, and then you have colors, and then you have shades, And there's a lot of things that happen in art. Your visualization becomes more stronger. You get a deeper understanding of physics. And you begin to become much more aware of tiny little peculiarity in nature that we are jaded to. That's oblivious to our vision. That only becomes clear when we start to look at art. We realize that the things that we very seldom see or take for granted are conducive or contingent on this three-dimensional depiction on a two-dimensional surface. So that's my introduction to why I am infatuated with art. And as you all can see, that my ability to create art has increased exponentially. I do it effortlessly because it's fascinating. It's unraveling a lot of phenomenon. I am painting people that's unfolding. It's like predictive programming. It truly is a fascinating phenomenon. Like you're creating this phenomena and it's unfolding. How is it unfolding? Is it predictive programming? Is it precognition? You know, am I an unconscious instrument or conduit in a much bigger, grander spectrum of things? Who knows? So that's it. That's it. You know, I find art to be an intriguing phenomenon, and I am excited to add it to my second hobby, next to music. That's it. You know, another fascinating aspect of is, you know, what makes an object pop? Is it that touch of light, or is that spark of light, or that touch of darkness? Because sometimes you might implement light first on a surface, and you know, the angle of the light that's reflected on the object determines the length, because the length of the shadow increases and decreases as the sun changes its direction in the sky. Now, all this physics is imperative to understand directly where to cast a shadow below an object when the sun is reflecting on it. So this is why I find art intriguing, because art has expanded my mind exponentially. Right, in many different ways, all different ways. You know, or you have supernatural ways as well. You know, you draw stuff and you see it manifests in reality in real time. That's some supernatural